Hey everyone, hope everybody had a great day today. Thanks for joining me on June 13th. And as always, we are not financial advisors, and everything you see on here is for educational purposes only. All right, so a few things I want to discuss here. I want to do this whole target thing just so people can figure out like what the open targets are. But before we do that, we'll just do a quick little market update. It'll be nice and simple. So Bitcoin, had a nice little pump yesterday, but then it gave it all the way back, and now it's kind of going sideways. We are towards the top side, so I do expect us to push down a little bit. We'll push back down a bit, later on in the day. But first, hourly does show it. We did cross upward, so there might be a little bit more bullish momentum before we start pushing back down. Maybe we'll go to the top side, which will be 68,500, and then continue our bearish momentum. Because I do see it coming back down to this green zone, right? We went to the top. We talked about how, hey, this is our top and we should push back down to the green zone. We're pretty much halfway there. Yesterday gave us a little scare, oh wait, what the heck? Why is it pumping? But then obviously the Fed news that I forgot about. But then we mentioned, hey, anytime there's Fed news, it always pumps, but then it dumps back down. Because, people they think they're getting ahead of the market, so they try to get in early. So if anybody got in, it just got dumped on. So that's why you gotta be careful. When it's FOM meetings, you usually don't want to trade those days because it's kind of like a trap. We have crossed downward on one of the indicators, but not the second one. So it does show, hey, there's still a little bit of bearish momentum. So if we can get to the green zone, that'll be a really good sign. We could even come all the way back down. Cause remember, I need to add this on my tracker because I forgot to add Bitcoin. But this video, I want to focus more on that because, there's a few coins that have open targets, and I know sometimes it could be really difficult to find out. Remember, you can always type in whatever coin you're looking for, and it gives you I can't even spell ocean right. It'll give you a list of all the charts that I've ever done on some of these coins, right? My biggest thing is for some of the most recent targets that I have, kind of how I should do this out, right? I kind of like how I was doing the pattern one where I just put what the target is update every couple days. So if we go all the way back down to March 14th, right? This is when I first started posting these targets. And I go, hey, look, the market has to drop back down because we have all these targets here. And if we slowly scroll up, you start seeing some of these start to hit, all of these start to hit, all of these start to hit. So my question is, do I do it this way, this route, and I can just maybe make another room and it'll be just for the targets, right? Slowly start to nail all of these targets. And if we come back to today, most of them are here. I just haven't updated some of them. I haven't put Solana. So on here, we're waiting for Solana to hit the 116, and we're also waiting for Ocean to hit 62. I tried updating some of the old the targets that I have here. Obviously, I just put this month's date. Obviously, I call these targets a bit further back. They do take a little bit, right? We knew we would when we would dump. We knew we would go sideways for quite a while before dropping down to hitting our targets. And I also, the cool thing about this is I also separated from our count targets versus our pattern targets. And for those that don't know, the count target's more a proprietary, I can't even say the word, proprietary, system that we use. So we don't tell you what that is. But the pattern one, I do show what people are. The pattern one, I always tell people how this one works, right? If it's a group of candles and this thing has a big drop but then recovers more than 60%, that always tells us we're going to drop back down to that area. What's a good example that hit it recently? Let's see, who hit it recently? We'll do Sui, I guess. Right, so here. Right, a group of red candles, and it's going to apply to bullish as well. A group of candles, one big drop, recovers more than 60%. This thing has to come back down to it again, right? And that's our little pattern target thing, which tends to be a little bit faster at hitting its targets than our count system. Our count system usually takes a little bit longer, but it kind of keeps us grounded of hey, look, these things need to come back down to this price. So we know like, hey, let's not buy, right? This is how we stayed away from buying all these tops. And like in the previous past, we've only bought the bottoms, right? Every time it dumped. So for example, like here, oh, I have my magnet on. Right here, we bought down here, we bought all of this, and over here, we haven't bought anything just because remember the alts were super expensive. Now they're a little bit better compared to us, right? Like a lot of these have dumped all the way down, almost to where like they were before they pumped. Some of these are still staying pretty strong. Rose has been killing it lately. But I mean, I got an open target at 0.05, so it's gonna be pretty wild. Dollar, I don't think I'll make a target for the dollar, right? All these little targets that we hit, I'm not gonna make one for the dollar. I'll just stick to strictly cryptos. But I do want to clean this up a little bit. I don't want to put too many targets, right? I don't want to be like those psychics that just throw a bunch of numbers out there. No, like I want to be specific, right? And I want everybody to know why I put this here, right? I didn't just, I didn't wake up and got a bunch of numbers and like want to just share with the world and get everybody like super excited or stuff. I also need to figure out to separate these either going to be bullish or bearish or just leave them like that. Like, it's up to you to go look at what the price of SUI is, because updating all of these, and especially if I have a lot of these, it's going to just take too much time. Which is kind of why I like this format where it's just like simple. Hey, look, these are just open targets that we have, right? We knew the market was bearish because, we had so many coins with open targets. So I'm going to try to figure out how I'm going to work this in. Maybe I'll keep it this way. Maybe I can do it. Because remember, I like to keep things simple, right? I don't want to have like something that looks like this. Right? I don't want something like that. That's like super overcomplicated and it's like I don't need all these drop downs. I don't need that. Like I want it simple. Where someone come in and be like, look, these are some targets that you want to buy. These, in case like you go into like Rose is 17 cents, but there's open target for 15. You might want to wait for the 15 because a lot of my targets usually hit. These are some of these are more the newer ones, like for example Solana 116, and that's kind of the one thing I gotta figure out, like you can distinguish them like when they came out, or if we start getting a lot of them that have open targets, then I'll start making my market updates a little bit longer and kind of go over all of these, maybe one by one like I used to. I stopped doing it because again the market has been pretty like calm, nothing too crazy like it was before, where I had to keep watching all of these, like especially during the bear market, right? I had to keep watching to let everybody know like, hey, don't buy nothing, like it's still showing me every day like that everything's gonna drop, right? What kind of like keeps us grounded. And here's an example of like how I was telling people like, hey, look, this is how I get these targets. Some of these are like, okay, now it's a green candle, usually goes sideways. But yeah, you guys want to let me know which one you'd prefer better. I'm still going to be like thinking about it to see which one works better for me as well. And then kind of just like put your feedback versus my own feedback to see, what's the better route. Because again, I could do a separate room and then just have target like this. Or we can have something like this. But I'll have to give everybody like separate access because I don't want everybody sharing all my stuff. Right now, obviously, I'm going to put this in the free room too, just so everybody can kind of get an idea like some of the stuff we do in here. So they're going to see all of this, but they're not going to be able to see all the updated stuff once all of this stuff happens. But you can see a lot of the targets that hit already. Again, the count side is a little bit slower. The pattern side hits a lot faster. Even though faster is like 2-3 weeks, maybe 3 months or so. But the count system takes a little bit longer, but it lets us know like, hey, like don't go buying because it'll come all the way back down, right? Like here, we're almost to our target on Atom, 672, right? We weren't buying at the very top. We weren't buying over $10, $11, $12 and stuff like that. One of these as well came back down. Remember Zeta came all the way back down to this area here. It was all the way up here, and I'm like, don't buy none until it comes back down to like the 127, which I think it was on here too. Oh yeah, 157. So let me know what you guys think. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to add besides the market. I mean, not too much going on. Again, we're waiting for Bitcoin to drop down to this green zone and maybe down to our 48K. Finally. I mean, finally. We got the purple zones in case we need to buy back in. But that's pretty much for today. Let me know what you guys think on Discord.